Abraham, the first patriarch in the Bible, is revered in Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. He is considered the founding father of monotheism, the belief that there is only one God. While we'll never know whether these stories are history or legend, what we do know is that the biblical narrative is the most detailed record any people has kept of its ancient history. In the Bible, God promises the land of Canaan to Abraham and his descendants. Abraham has two sons, Ishmael and Isaac. Judaism and Christianity believe that Isaac inherited the rights to the promised land. These rights then passed down to Isaac's son, Jacob, whose 12 sons became the forefathers of the ancient Israelites. Epigraphic material and archaeological evidence support the claim that a people who became known as the Israelite tribes settled Canaan at the time described in the biblical events. During this time, larger geopolitical developments affected the ancient Israelites. Canaan became a battleground between the Hittite Empire and Egypt. Israel was one of the parties in the conflict. How do we know this? The Egyptian pharaoh Merneptah created a stele, an artifact showing his military victories, and mentions Israel. The stele, then, is the first recorded extra-biblical mention of Israel. The crumbling of Egyptian power over Canaan helped the Israelites gain a foothold in the region. Over the next 2 centuries, the Israelites became a dominant people in the land. They were bound together by their monotheistic worldview, which became known as Judaism. One of the earliest enemies that the Israelites had to contend with were the Sea Peoples. The Sea Peoples' arrival in the Levant in 1220 BCE brought a lot of instability to the region. The Sea Peoples were a group of impressive fighting nations from the Aegean region of the Mediterranean. One group, the Philistines, became a huge enemy of the Israelites. There were so many battles between the two, including the famous story of David and Goliath. After which, David became king of the Israelites. The reigns of David and his son Solomon were a golden age for the ancient Israelites. King David conquered Jerusalem and made it the Israelite capital. Then King Solomon built the first Jewish temple on the site of the Temple Mount. The Golden Age came to an end with the Assyrian campaigns, and the northern Israelite tribes ceased to exist. The tribe of Judah survived, and the territory they inhabited became known as Judea. Assyrian dominance didn't last long. In 586 BCE, Babylonian king Nebuchadnezzar invaded the kingdom of Judah and destroyed Jerusalem and Solomon's temple. Many Israelites were taken to Babylon, modern-day Iraq. This event has become known as the first Jewish diaspora. The desire to return to Zion, Jerusalem and Israel, begun at this time of exile 2,500 years ago. 50 years after the first Jewish diaspora, the Babylonians were defeated by the Persians, and the Jewish exiles were allowed to return to Judah. But many Jews stayed behind and created new communities and learning academies. The ones that did return to Judah rebuilt the walls of Jerusalem and a new temple. Over the next centuries, the territory of Judea was a scene of ongoing struggles between the Israelites and the ancient Greek and Roman empires. Even though these empires were more powerful than the Israelites, the Greeks and the Romans gave them a good amount of freedom. That is, until the Romans ended any chance of further Israelite autonomy in Judea for thousands of years. It was during this tumultuous time that the seeds of what would become Christianity were planted.